Hi, hello, friends. It is I. I am back. Your ADHD body double. So, ADHD team, assemble! Go grab that thing that you've needed to do for a while that you haven't done. Put me on in the background. Just pretend I'm in your house telling you a story while you go and get that thing done. Whether that's cleaning out your car, filing that application, whatever it is, starting that business, okay, updating your website, whatever that thing is that you've been putting off, that you've been avoiding, that one chair with all the laundry from a couple of months ago, that one suitcase you never unpacked, that, okay? Go find that thing. I'm going to sit here and crochet, body doubling, and I'm going to tell you a story, this time about the Panama Girls. And this was actually a request, so thank you so much for requesting a story. Anyway, all right, so let's deep dive. Two girls vanish in paradise, okay? A search turns up their belongings, and then bones, photos, hints, but no clear answers. Just a trail of breadcrumbs that leads us deeper into the jungle and into the dark, all right? This is the case of Lisanne Froon and Chris Kramers, forever known as the Panama Girls. This is a story of a dream trip turned into a literal living nightmare filled with unanswered questions, eerie evidence, and conspiracy theories that only get weirder the deeper you go. The Reddit threads are wild, okay? So grab your flashlight because we're heading into the jungle. We're heading in. So let's start off, okay, by honoring who these women were, because Chris and Lisanne were more than just headlines, okay? And I think as a true crime content consumer, it's easy for us to forget that these were real people, you know? And so I always want to take space and time and honor that these were real people and that they deserve this. They're not just a story. They're not just a headline, okay? So Chris was 21. She was considered to be an open-hearted, intelligent woman with passion for culture and for art. She was studying cultural social education at the University of Utrecht. I'm sorry about my pronunciation. It might be wrong. But people described her as responsible, mature, and compassionate. Lisanne was 22. Tall, same, athletic volleyball player with a love for adventure and photography. And she just graduated with a degree in applied sciences from Deventer. I apologize again for my pronunciation, and was known as optimistic and shy, the more reserved one of the two. They were very close friends, okay? They're both from Amersfoort in the Netherlands, and they decided to take a gap year trip together before starting their careers. So their destination, Panama, specifically Boquete, okay? It's a picturesque mountain town surrounded by lush jungle, friendly locals, and expat communities. They arrived on March 15th, 2014. They were excited to explore, volunteer, and practice their Spanish. So the girls spent their first couple of weeks exploring the area, getting comfortable, and planning their schedule. They were supposed to start a volunteering position teaching local children on March 31st. This was arranged through a local language school called Spanish by the River. But here's a red flag. The girls reportedly showed up for the position and were told that the school wasn't ready for them yet. Some sources say that the girls were surprised, frustrated. It's unclear whether there was miscommunication or something else, but this change freed up their schedule. So on April 1st, they decided to take a hiking trip. So it was around 11 a.m. on April 1st, 2014, Chris and Lisanne left their host family's home with their host family's dog called Azul and caught a taxi to the trailhead of El Pianista, okay? It's a popular hiking trail that starts on the edge of Boquete and winds into the cloud forest. They were lightly packed, a backpack with snacks, water, digital camera. They had their passports, some cash, Lisanne's Samsung Galaxy phone, and Chris's iPhone. So around 1 p.m., Lisanne's phone pinged a cell tower. likely when they reached the top of the trail. After that, no one saw them again. So that night, the host family noticed Azul returned home alone. The dog came home, but the girls didn't. So over the next day, messages to the girls went unanswered. Concern quickly grew. The parents back in the Netherlands were contacted, and the panic began to set in. So, excuse me. By April 3rd, authorities had launched an official search. They were joined by local guides, police, firefighters, and eventually Dutch forensic teams and sniffer dogs. Helicopters scanned the forests. Nothing. The trail just literally stopped. Okay? So when investigators later gained access to the phones, this chilling timeline emerged. Between April 1st and April 11th, multiple attempts were made to call emergency services, both 112, which is the European emergency, and 911, Panama's. So April 1st at 4:39 p.m., the first emergency call came from Chris's phone. Between April 2nd and April 3rd, repeated call attempts. None of them connected. April 5th, Lisanne's phone battery died and was never used again. From the 6th through the 11th, Chris's phone continued to be powered on and off, but oddly, the PIN was never entered again after April 5th. Multiple attempts were made with incorrect PINs. See where I'm going with that? Let that sink in. For days, someone had the phone but didn't know the PIN, or maybe Chris was incapacitated and someone else had the phone. Just saying. Then flash forward 10 weeks. 10 weeks. On June 11th, a local indigenous woman found a blue backpack near the edge of the riverbank, kilometers away from the trail. It was dry, despite it being rainy season. Inside of the backpack were both of the girls' phones, Lisanne's camera, 2 bras. They found sunglasses, $83 in cash, passports. They found a water bottle. Everything was in near perfect condition. Now that's weird. The jungle, as we can all assume if we don't know, is brutal, okay? 10 weeks of storms should have destroyed or at least weathered this gear. Yet, here it was, intact. And now, things are only going to get weirder, so hang on to your pants, okay? The camera, a Canon PowerShot, had over 130 photos on it. Photos from April 1st showed up with them smiling on the top of the trail, playful, unbothered. And then April 8th, 7 days after they went missing, 7 days, when 90 photos were taken between 1 a.m. and 4 a.m. in near total darkness, deep in the jungle. Now, these photos showed flashes of raindrops or mist, jungle foliage, a plastic bag on a rock, a mirror, possibly blood on hair strands, possibly a makeshift torch of some kind, and one photo may have shown the back of Chris's head, suggesting injury. Were they signaling for help? Were they trying to light the way? Or were they documenting something? So, following the backpack discovery, locals found more evidence scattered along the riverbank. Lisanne's boot, with her foot still inside, cleanly severed at the ankle. Her foot was still inside, cleanly severed at the ankle. A pelvic bone, and later a rib bone that was tested and confirmed as belonging to Chris. They also found scattered bone fragments. Now, the bones were clean. No sign of drag marks, animal scavenging, or decomposition typical in jungle conditions, right? Even stranger, though, forensic testing revealed that no blood or tissue left on the bones. They were bleached white, as if they'd been treated, as if they'd been purposely bleached. Obviously, this raised alarms. Bodies in the jungle don't just clean themselves, right? So authorities ruled it as a tragic accident. The girls got lost, fell, and died of exposure or injury. But for many, myself included, this explanation does not add up. Here's why. Why did the foam pins stop being used correctly? Why was the backpack dry and untouched and found in such a convenient location? Who took those really strange nighttime photos? Why were some bones bleached and others left intact, right? Why did it take weeks to find evidence so close to the trail? Why did search dogs never pick up a scent? I ask you, you know? So let's get into the theories. Numero uno, they got lost and they died accidentally. This is the official narrative. They got disoriented. They were trying to explore beyond, the mountain itself, Il Penista. Maybe slipped into a ravine and one of them died while the other tried to survive, right? Theory number two, foul play by the locals or guides. Some speculate, okay, that they were led into danger by someone they trusted, maybe a guide or a local. There were rumors they'd met with people the night before the hike. Number three, human trafficking, ritual involvement. Okay, so conspiracies emerged linking this region to occult rituals or trafficking rings. Some even believe that the remains were staged. Okay, theory number four, paramilitary or illegal operations. Locals were whispering that the jungle hid more than wildlife, possibly illegal trade or militia operations that the girls accidentally witnessed or stumbled upon. Okay. Theory number five, paranormal or supernatural. With the eerie photo evidence in the misty jungle setting, some believe that the girls encountered something otherworldly. I'm not saying that's not possible. I'm just saying it's more likely that they were kidnapped and then, tortured in some sort of ritual. That's my personal belief. But let's be real. Some of these are wild, but that's what happens when official explanation leaves gaps. People, our minds, fill them, right? So the lingering questions here are, why didn't the dogs ever find a trace during the initial search? Why was no conclusive cause of death ever issued? Why are so many images from the camera unreleased to the public? Could someone have potentially tampered with the phone or staged the evidence? It's been over a decade. And yet we still don't know what really happened to Chris and Lisanne. And that's the most haunting part. The last I heard, the parents had hired Dutch forensic experts to go into the jungle and see what they could find to see if there was anything else that could potentially, be linked to this. But again, it's been more than a decade. We haven't heard anything really new. So I'm assuming that not much was found. So at the end of this thing, we had two best friends, a dream trip, a hike that turned into a mystery, and a jungle that never gave back clear answers. The story of the Panama Girls is not just about what happened. It's really about, for me at least, it's really about what was never allowed to come to light. So let me know in the comments, what do you think happened? Was it a tragic accident? Is something being covered up? Do you think potentially it could have been like some otherworldly creature? Yeah. And if you want more deep dive cases, let me know. I would love to do more. And so give me ideas and I'm happy to acquiesce. Okay. Love you so much. I don't know. Hit the buttons, hit the bell, subscribe, stay in the shadows with me. That'd be fun. Okay. Bye.